All right, guys. So I'm going to talk about a very interesting aspect of American life, how busy the life is, how difficult the life is in America, how much work there is to be done. I made similar videos before, but this video is specifically, I am really making it for some friends of mine, some business partners of mine. For all the other viewers also, this will be very useful because you will get to know how American life is extremely difficult. So first thing is, there is a lot of work related to kids activities. So I'm talking about, okay, there are people who are bachelors here, there are people who are just newly married, and there are people who have kids. I'm talking about people who have 2 kids and less than the age of high school, or basically in the high school or lesser. And I'll talk about all the duties that people have to do in order to survive here. Right? And people who, typically when a person has, so between 30 to 40, basically, when he's from 30 to 45, but other 30 to 50, that's where people spend all their time. 30 to 50, I call it 30 to 50, or maybe 33 to 50. Once they have the baby, so maybe 30, let's call it 30 to 50. It's not a big deal, 30 to 50. So from age 30 to age 50, this is how people, everybody's time goes away. Right? So people have a house at that time, they have 2 kids, they are growing. One is younger, one is older. Older one is in high school, the younger one could be in middle school, and that's how it is, right? So when the older one starts, let's say, journey at the age of 33, your first kid is born, then by the time she is 19 years old, 18 years old, and out of college, out of home, the younger one is still ready, so you will be spending even more years. So it's 20 years of your life, that's how you basically, for almost 20 years of your life, you'll be working like this, maybe 21 years. Because at the age of 17, 18, the kids go out, and if the difference in the kids is 3 years, then the second one will be going out in add 3-4 years to that. Basically, for 22 years or so, this will be your life. You will be having a house also, right? So one by one. First, in this house, in this country, there's a lot of work, even if you are in an apartment. So this is true for everybody, not just for these 22 years. This is for all stages of life here. That you will be basically cleaning, weekly cleaning you have to do, daily cooking, daily chores. Daily chores include daily little bit of cleaning of kitchen, etc. Washing, drying of the clothes, basically laundry. And you have to do cleaning, kapde, bartan, safaiyan, khana, you have to do daily cooking. And many people resort to cooking once in 2 days, and then they basically eat the old stale food, including us. We do that. Everybody does it. Without this, there is no way a person can survive here. So, because there's a lot of work here. There's a lot of work here. All these are very easy duties, but they get done. But they cannot be you have to do it. You still have to do it. If you want to get it done from outside help, it's minimum $30 an hour for Indian cooking and some of these activities. Right? It can vary slightly from here and there. So I would say, let's say $25 to $35. Now, second set of duties that everybody has to do, which keeps everybody very busy, is kids. Kids have a lot of activities. Taking them to those activities, sitting there and watching them. So I've made a lot of videos around, how I try to reduce my kids' activity time, and I could not do anything about it. Right? So the point is, it is almost impossible. It's almost impossible to delegate these things or reduce the effort. You can reduce the effort by splitting, and wife could go with one kid, you could go with another kid. But the point is, it's a lot of work, a lot of man hours that have to be invested into this. House maintenance a lot of activity. Some people do gardening and all those things. Those are added things. But even before that, in general, house has to be maintained. There are plumbing issues, there are electrical issues, there are all kinds of issues that keep coming, and you have to basically repair those also. So repairs and maintenance. Even paying the bills. There are almost 40-50 bills that we have to pay every single month related to house and kids and our life in general, like anything else, and those 40-50 bills have to be paid on time. People struggle a lot in paying those bills. Some people say, oh no, it's not a big deal. No, it's easy. It's easy. I'm not saying it's difficult, but it's time consuming. All this takes time. So basically maintaining house and maintaining life, like your cell phone bill, your this bill, your cable bill, your this bill, all these things is also other aspect of this is one has to study also, right? Then apart from that, grocery shopping, there is a lot of grocery shopping work. There is a lot of work related to grocery shopping, Indian grocery shopping, American grocery shopping, then bringing them home and putting them in the fridge. There is a lot of work related to that. Nobody's going to do all that work for you. You are the one who has to do all these things. I already mentioned kids, house. I already mentioned your personal life. And apart from that, so these things are huge. Then you have to do your jobs. If you have jobs, you have to do your jobs. Your wife has a job, she has to do a job. In this country, in this country, in my mind, wife's contribution, I made a video regarding this. My wife's contribution is around 10 to 12,000 dollars a month if she's sitting at home. Yes, because all this work would cost you 10 to 12,000 dollars anyway. So if your wife and babysitting and your life becomes very restricted, if the baby is around, you cannot do so many things. You cannot do work. Yeah, this is another important aspect. You cannot do work. You cannot. So it's very difficult to progress beyond a certain point in this country because there is just a lot of work. There's a lot of work and there are a lot of responsibilities, and then you're tied up with kids, right? So, like say, now you have to socialize also. It's part and parcel of your success formula for basically for any individual. He has to have some kind of social life also. All that takes a toll, right? Planning for the social events, organizing social events. Even arranging for that, the whole 1 or 2 days go in. Let's say there is a social event. Let's say I invite 10 people to my home. There will be at least a lot of work for. Let's say they are going to come here on Saturday. Then Friday and Saturday would be very, very occupied. It is impossible. So think about it. And when you have to go somewhere to your friend's home, even then it's a little bit of work because you have to spend 6-7 hours with everybody. But before that, you have to do planning, you have to get ready and things like that. It's all very time consuming. You need to understand in this country, a lot of work. There's a lot of work. There's just so many duties here which you have to do. On top of that, if you have a business, then you have to make sure, you have to call, let's say the people who are, let's say you have a 7-Eleven or a gas station, then you have to call the people, make sure they are there. There's a lot of headache to run those businesses. If you have an Indian store, it's a lot of headache to run those businesses. And you have to do all those things as well. Just now, an Indian store owner who probably made $20,000 a month just delivered the things to me in my home. She herself came. The owner wife herself came. The point is, they cannot find a delivery guy, right? Who will find a delivery guy just for something? So if some business, you will say, oh, some businesses are there for delivery. I will make a separate video for that. How delivery in those businesses work. They are fine-tuned around those processes. That's how they are. Right. So Indian store is not fine-tuned around delivery processes. So you cannot say, oh, this guy does delivery, so he can also do delivery. Oh, Amazon does delivery. Amazon gives their drivers a lot of money. So don't worry. Let me talk about the problems here. So when you have to do all these things yourself, it's just very, very time consuming. There is no time for growth. There is no time for personal growth. There is no time for me time. I really don't have time to sit there and actually think about where my life is going, whether I'm happy or not. So this is me time. And what can I do to make myself happy? Then there is couple time you have to spend. Then there is kids time you have to spend. Then you have to do so many other activities. You have to go to temple also. If you want to go, like some people come and ask me, hey, why don't you take your kids, why don't your kids speak Hindi? Arey brother, it's a lot of work too. You need to understand, the Hindi classes are usually like very far from your home, maybe 20-30 minutes drive. So you have to spend a lot of time. I never was able to ration out budget out the time for that. And then in my mind, so this is the time, these are all time consuming activities. Taking them to the temple, getting them acquainted with your gods, and getting them acquainted with your culture. All this is very time consuming. So, right. So in this, right. So this country has given you a lifestyle in which a lot of work has to be done, and you're undermining all that work. On top of that, let's say you have to now you're building this business, you're buying 7-Eleven or something, let's say buy 2 7-Eleven. You have to negotiate, you have to talk to people, you have to negotiate their salary, you have to negotiate with the person, you have to deal with realtors, all these things. When people say, oh, I bought houses, man, all this is very time consuming on top of your jobs, on top of all these activities that you have to do, right? Like they just some people do volunteering also. I'm not a big fan of volunteering, but some people do volunteering also. Some people do the social service also. How on earth? Their life is just around this organic wealth building, like organic lifestyle where they're living organic life, where they're doing all these things and then volunteering and all that stuff. This is not lifestyle. They have to remember, I told you about trash can, I told you about so many things which keep coming. Small things. Sometimes the toilet is leaking, sometimes this is leaking. Right now there are 3 or 4 things on my plate which have to be done very urgently, pretty much. Well, they're semi-urgent. They're not as urgent. Otherwise, they would have not waited for 2 weeks. There are workarounds. There are other toilets that I can use. Basically, that's the reason it's not urgent. But the point is how it is. So life is extremely busy here. There's a lot of work here. There's a lot of work. People undermine that, and that's why many people don't understand the problems of life in America. Right? This whole thing will feed into multiple discussions. I just want to make an umbrella video about there's just a lot of work in this country, and all that work, there's a lot of work. Some people say, oh, I can call help. I can call this TaskRabbit guy. To call a TaskRabbit guy, there's a lot of work involved. You have to make calls. You have to look through the profiles, review this, that, then get the guy here. right? And then he will come on a specific time. You have to be available there. So I've made a lot of videos about how the time is basically is an asset that this country takes from you. Like, this just sucks the time out of you, and there is no time for anything else. There is no time for personal growth. There is no time for emotional growth. There is no time for your for you to invest in your marital relationship. There is no time for kids. There is no time for so many other things. There is no time, very importantly, because of the CSF for finance, the whole channel is all about that. There is no time for you to make more money by doing more business. Even a small, simple idea like let's start this would be a very, very time consuming activity for a person in America. And I'm talking about only time. Money consuming, money investments and all may be there. They may be having a lot of time for money. They may be having a lot of money. All people in America, anybody who's settled in America for 10, 15 years, they'll be having a lot of money. But they won't be having time at all. The time-wise, that is impossible that someone can do a business and grow big or something and do something. Even, okay, some people have investment accounts. Just to log into the investment accounts, just to log into 401k plan, IRA plan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, the Citibanks, all these accounts, very time-consuming. All these admin tasks are very time-consuming. Your personal administration, you're logging into your, let's say your bill doesn't get paid. They put a penalty on you. Let's say bank people put a penalty on you. All these things take a lot of time. You call the bank. It has to be done in the premium time between 9 to 5. So that's your most premium time. And all those things take time. They're mental toll because it's mentally stressful. You have to have a conversation with people and explain it to them. And to the customer service of Bank of America, for example, and then it's time consuming, and then sometimes so yeah, that's all. There's a lot of these kind of activities also. All these things, personal planning, personal budgeting, personal looking at household things. Many people show me videos. Oh, do this. How to do this? There is no time. There is no time, So all these basic clerical tasks, personal clerical tasks, you have to do yourself. You cannot hire a person for these things. If you hire a person, he'll charge $40 an hour, and he will ask for minimum work also. Yeah, she will ask for at least, $1,000 worth of work every month also. So how will you give that kind of thing? So that means $1,000 a month for this thing. But first of all, where do you find such people? Care.com, okay, go ahead and try to find that. The point is, you have to find for cooking, cleaning, you getting accounting done for someone else, but then you're cooking, cleaning, all these things by yourself. So don't go there. I'm not going to the health problem. Help is a big problem in this country because everything is very expensive. Everything is very expensive, right? And some things require brain. For example, gardening. The planning of the garden is a brainy activity, and they will take your input. It's a very time-consuming activity. Similarly, pool cleaning. Once my tree grew big, I wanted to cut the branches. Very time-consuming. I tried to do it myself first. I bought a tree cutter and I tried to do it myself. Very time-consuming activity, brothers. And then I asked my gardener and paid him extra every time to trim the branches. The point is, guys, these are all something that you understand. In this country, everything has to be done by yourself. You don't understand the amount of time you don't have any parents. So when you don't have parents in this country, if you're first generation, you don't have any parents here. So that adds to the problem. That adds to the problem. Brothers, it's very, very time consuming in this country. I'm again saying that time-wise, there is no time here. Someone may say, oh, he's very busy. You may think that he's meeting with Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. No, he's simply cleaning his house. He has to clean the house, nah? How will he do otherwise? And if you have another rental property, then what happens? I'm not getting in there. I'm not going there. You have to clean that too. You know that. So right, organizing the stuff. My daughter or anybody's daughter, any kid would keep on throwing the things away. There will be a lot of clutter. So cleaning all that mess is also a lot of time-consuming activity, and making sure they're organized. We have spent hours and hours to organize our house, and still it's very unorganized. I have put videos of my house, unorganized stuff on my house in this channel. You guys can go and look at it. It's just too much time-consuming. It's very, very time consuming. Just to make sure everything is in place, everything stays where they are, is a very time consuming activity. I just told you so many things which are basically very time consuming. I hope I have not missed anything, but even if I miss, you should assume that's a very time consuming activity because everything takes time. So everybody in America is busy doing these things. They cannot run a business. They cannot do anything growth activity. They cannot do anything. They cannot really, if you notice, people forget their hobbies in America, right? That's why they do. If they do their hobby, then they do only hobby, then they live a poor life. They cannot do their job. Then they cannot do any business. They cannot make the $12,000 a month they're supposed to make. Remember my videos say that. So like Rohan Virdi, like Ark in America, they live a poor person's life, right? Right, but right. So these are all interesting points of this country which nobody understands. That basically the time is there is no time here for doing anything. Everybody's damn busy. All right. Thank you, guys.